How am I supposed to go to the bathroom?
This time we will tell you about a trailer horror film, entitled Like Dogs, which will be released in 2021. Like Dogs tells the story of a woman who is tied up in a cage, and is treated like a dog as an experimental material. What really happened? Just go ahead as usual. Prepare snacks and sit in the most comfortable place. Let's go. One morning a dog was seen eating, and a woman named Lisa was seen behind him. She was kidnapped by several people. She was drugged, covered in her face and tied up, so as not to rebel, then taken to a building. Lisa was placed in a small place, with a chain who tied the neck like a dog. Not long after, the officer came, gave the dog food. The officer also told them that to relieve themselves, Lisa just had to squat in the small gap that had been provided. What was their real goal? This was Like Dogs.
How am I supposed to go to the bathroom?
Surely Lisa didn't have an appetite, but because she had been holding back her hunger for days, she was forced to accept the food. This time, the masked officer deliberately put the food a little far away, and Lisa was forced to take it with her feet, then ate it with great gusto. You can see a lot of CCTV recording activities in the cage, where Lisa is subject number 5407, and is in cage number 1, meaning there have been 5,000 victims like this Lisa. On the 5th day Lisa was tested for her compliance level, by being released into the building's courtyard, but because Lisa trying to escape, the necklace around his neck was made even more suffocating, and the electrocution of the fence was activated, to prevent him from escaping. On the 7th day, Lisa was met with subject 5399 named Adam, who was at the other end of the cage on the other side. Adam informed them that there was a drug in their food, which could weaken the nerves of the brain. Even though it was forbidden, the hungry Lisa still ate, so she could get energy enough to fight back if the opportunity arose, and since Adam still wouldn't eat, the officers came to laser or electrocute him as punishment.
Eat now! I won't. So do not fuck with me.
The next day Lisa woke up, in a cage that was closer to Adam. They also chatted together. The officers returned to give food, because they had not eaten for days. Adam didn't care if there was medicine or not in it. Adam immediately got food. The food, which turned out to be it felt okay. After that they suddenly hallucinated sleep, and Lisa dreamed that she was making out with Adam in the kitchen. After waking up from sleep, the cages of the two of them are now next to each other, and they can chat more and more intimately. Day after day passes. Their activities are routine as usual. Eating, sleeping, defecating and urinating. These activities are repeated until he is on the 14th day, when the officer pushed the food with a stick. Adam, who pretended to be asleep smartly, immediately pulled his stick, and hit the officer's head so that he fainted. Didn't take long. Adam took the key to untie the two of them, but suddenly, it turns out that Lisa is a gang of officers, who are her best friends, namely George, Erica, and several other interns. They carry out the experiment, to become research material for changes in human behavior, which is also monitored by a lecturer named Dr. Fisher. Many rooms, another cage room in the building, and everyone who participated in the experiment there, are volunteers, who have been paid, except for Adam, started deliberately kidnapped, in order to experience the same. Like other people, he also wants to be tied up like a dog, in order to understand how the condition is felt, and also provoke Adam's behavior naturally. After Lisa was returned to the cage, fortunately Adam, who was conscious, didn't remember why he fainted. Even though they were free, Lisa lied. She said, Maybe you are hallucinating because there is the drugs in our food." After that, Lisa and Adam were released into the yard to be tested again for the level of compliance, but Adam didn't care. He immediately climbed the fence, which was no longer electrified, and followed by Lisa, but because the officers saw it, their necklaces even more binding, so that they suffocated until they fainted. A few moments later, Adam woke up with his body tied to the bed. Then George entered with great emotion, because Adam disobeyed orders, and he injected a liquid that made Adam hallucinate. So did Adam. Lisa, who was also injected with the same liquid, is sure that George has ulterior motives. When George arrived at the CCTV room, Erica asked why some of the CCTVs were dead, and George reasoned that maybe the cameras were indeed an error, and he would fix it, because it was very suspicious. Erica and her two friends went to the dead CCTV area, and they found Lisa and Adam, who was still hallucinating, after being returned to the cage. How surprised George was to see that from the CCTV. Erica said that George must have given a high dose of illegal drugs, and he had also called Dr. Fisher to come there, so he could return the experiment to the right track. Dr. Fisher was furious, because George acted out of bounds, and used other types of drugs without his knowledge. Therefore the experiment would be stopped, and Dr. Fisher asked Lisa to be released immediately, after being in a closed room, and Dr. Fisher gave an injection adrenaline so that Lisa is aware, and interrogates her why there are dangerous drugs in the research subject's food. Dr. Fisher turns on Lisa, who has messed up the experiment, and that can damage her reputation, therefore she will report to the authorities, so that Lisa is imprisoned because she locked Adam, who was not a volunteer. Then suddenly Lisa, who felt cornered, and her psyche began to be disturbed, immediately strangled Dr. Fisher and locked him in the freezer room.
I'm reporting this to the authorities. Shit. Please help me. Please.
Lisa also lied to George and Erica. She said that Dr. Fisher agreed to continue the experiment, and now she has returned to her home. After that, Lisa was again tied up with Adam, who was still unconscious next to her. Meanwhile, George, who realized there was something wrong, finally found Dr. Fisher, who was already cold, shivering or hypothermic in the freezer room, instead of being helped. But George, who turned out to be in love with Lisa, instead dropped the metal box right on Dr. Fisher's head, until it shattered.
Anything for her.
It turns out that Erica was watching George, who had just finished cleaning the blood on his body, and after the conditions were safe, Erica also tried to check the room. It was clear that Erica was surprised to see the corpse of Dr. Fisher, who was very sad. Then suddenly heard Erica's scream. Lisa immediately removed the chain with her spare key, and helped untie Adam, who luckily Adam didn't suspect anything until now. On the other hand, George accused Lisa that he was the one who committed the heinous act, but because Erica would still report it to the police, George immediately drugged him as well as Lisa, and Adam was strangled using a binding necklace until they passed out.
With you.
When she woke up, Erica was confronted by Adam, and forced to say that he was one of the experimental officers, but now has the same fate as Adam, while forcing Erica to explain what experiment they were doing. Erica also explained that this experiment was a behavioral experiment that made humans obey like a dog. All costs are paid for by the university, and the research subjects are paid volunteers, but it's different from Adam, who was deliberately kidnapped by Lisa, because it turns out that Lisa is very infatuated with Adam, since the first time he saw her, including with all of Lisa's ideas to continue weakens Adam, so they can be alone longer, and Adam is shocked to learn how psychopathic Lisa is, and Erica promises to help free him.
From the moment she first saw you is a behavioral experiment, treating humans like animals. I wanted more time to wear you down. But I know the way out of here. You need me to get there.
Meanwhile, in the CCTV room, Lisa, who overheard their conversation, was very emotional. Then soon George came, and took Lisa to another cage area, which she had been keeping secret all this time. It turned out that the cages there were filled with men who were Lisa's ex-boyfriend, George kidnapped them all, because he felt he had done wrong to his sweetheart, and deserved to be punished, including Adam, who he really hated because Lisa was too concerned with him. George said that they both had the same resemblance, namely psychopathic traits deep in his flesh. George also spoke his heart out, and would do anything for Lisa, because only he understood his feelings, like killing Dr. Fisher.
These men treat you, and I understand. That's the difference between me, other man in this room. This is love. Now, our final destination.
After that, George took Lisa to Adam and Erica's room, to make a choice, which is to kill Erica's best friend, or to kill the man she has always wanted. A debate between the three of them ensued, and it was clear Lisa preferred to save Adam, but when the button clasped her necklace when Erica clicked, it turned out that George had changed the setting, which actually activated Adam's necklace, and strangled him until he died.
She said he doesn't have to die. She doesn't. Why?
George, who knew Lisa would never like him, turned out he had raped her when Lisa was in a hallucination with Adam. On the other hand, Erica was very disappointed, because Lisa sacrificed herself more than Adam, who never even loved Lisa. After that, Lisa was forced to press the button to end game, in which the button activates all of the subject's choker necklaces, including his ex-girlfriend's, while there is a chance Lisa also activates her necklace, which finally makes George panic more, then releases his necklace manually, and when George kisses him, Lisa immediately bites George's lip was torn. After that, Lisa freed Erica and took her away from there, but unfortunately the other apprentices who were about to be rescued had already been killed by George. A chase ensued, and George was lured into one of the rooms. Then what happened?
You wasted it.
Now the situation is reversed. George is put on a dog collar, and his asshole is electrocuted using an electric baton, until he finally dies in a sad state.
Tell you the only language that you'll understand.
You need it.
Even though she was assisted by Erica, her psychopathic Lisa had the heart to kill Erica, so that no one would become a witness. At the end of the film, Lisa leaves from there by setting fire to the building to remove traces, and of course she will continue her experiments using other victims.
Thank you for your sacrifice. They make sacrifices for each other.